And we welcome you to another edition of This Is Wrestling Royal Rumble Weekly. Versage, Zach McGibbon. Z Gibbon, how are you? And are you excited for the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia?
Well, until you said in Saudi Arabia part, I was like, it's that time of the year. The Royal Rumble is here. We're going to figure out who will win and get into the main event of WrestleMania, night one, probably. But we'll figure it out. We'll see who is going to get the World Heavyweight Championship title shot, not the actual WWE Undisputed Championship, I imagine. We'll see. Who knows?
Don't be
it
like
really
that.
Is up for
don't be like that. You don't know. Like, this is a show of speculation.
That's true.
There's so many things that could happen.
It's true. You know what? You're right. You're right. I shouldn't have made that assumption. I'm just mentally preparing myself because it was confirmed yesterday as we were recording that Evil is officially leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yes. And it dawned on me that the timing of his contract, because he's not in the final shows for New Japan in the month of January, the final two shows. So the timing works out that he could show up for the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia and make his debut in Saudi Arabia. What a combo, Lee.
The fact that Evil was a part of a company and now he's going to resurface in another company. Well, that hasn't happened. We also have something resurfacing that we're very, very excited to talk about. It's our This Is Wrestling Royal Rumble pool, Zach.
Yes, it's back, baby.
30 names, 30 numbers, and all for the low price of $94.99. Just listen, I'm just trying to be like TKO, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll promote record numbers that we took in from the buy-ins for the Rumble pool.
And if you and I have to buy all the tickets, it probably won't be as lucrative as, but we'll have sold out the tickets.
Yeah,
we'll tell people it's a sellout.
Yeah. Number 8 is brought to you by.
Oh, we could do some good things there.
Yeah, we could do a lot of. We could really we got to respond to our shareholders, Lee. So this is an opportunity to really show the shareholders our value that we bring to them. We need to bring the maximum shareholder value. We need to maximize our corporate sponsorships. We need to maximize our revenue potential. So I feel like, I'll throw out all these fancy business terms in the email when we send out, and I'll send out some graphs, some Excel sheets, and show like net profits, and all that, and then is say, look, this is how we're maximizing the This Is Wrestling audience. This is how we are making sure we're getting maximum dollar for what we put out.
And then when we finish and have our Royal Rumble review, the first thing we'll say is how much money we made.
Yeah, that's right. Folks, this is a record gate for the Royal Rumble pool. Look at how much money we made.
Look at all you guys that paid your hard-earned money, and and you got Carlito, right, who's coming back into the Rumble.
It's because of you that we were able to make so much money, and we thank you, the loyal This Is Wrestling universe, for putting this all together. And I'll wear my nice fancy suit as well. And we'll treat it totally like a business conference. We'll have a PowerPoint presentation ready to go. I'll have a little laser pointer and see, look, maximum shareholder value. This is what we're doing here. This is what we bring to the table. Sponsored by Great American Beer, the Royal Rumble pool.
Well, if I got to crush one of those cans on somebody's head, then maybe yes. I would also do that. We are not going to maximize our profits, but we are going to do enough that, the winners of the men's and women's Royal Rumble will be able to take home a little bit of profit, and there will be some that go into the This Is Wrestling fund. I mean, Zach is not cheap, folks, so to get him to come on every week is costing a little bit.
Waiting to hit the pay window, brother. That's what I'm doing.
I know. So, but no, we're excited that it is back, and it is a lot of fun, right? Like,
Yeah.
I get jacked up and I'm disappointed. Like, I'm going to get, like, I can see it now that I'm going to get, I'm just trying to think of like even somebody in the women, like I'll get Natalia.
Yeah.
Who was like, yeah, she's just turned on Maxine Dupree, but is Natalia winning the Royal Rumble? No,
Probably not.
she's not.
Probably not.
No, I would go with no.
Yeah, the way my luck has gone in the Royal Rumble pools in the past, I'm probably getting Evil and his number when he comes out. Like, that would be truly poetic. That would be thinking the long term, like Triple H would say. Like, that would be the ultimate in a moment for us at This Is Wrestling. So that's probably how it's going to play.
If you want into the pool, it will be, I don't think we've fully decided, but reach out, and whether that's versagely@gmail.com, whether that is to all the socials, Zach, how can they reach us? Tell us. We're going to tell them 18 times today how they can reach us.
Yes. You can find it in the description of this podcast episode. Our social media will be down there at TIW_audio is where you can find us. There's also Lee Versage's email that's in there, versagely@gmail.com.
Very complicated.
Yeah, very complicated. You just take the names and you reverse it. I think that's how WWE creates its NXT names, actually, is that they just reverse the names. Yep. At least that's how it worked for Daniel Bryan. And so, yes, that's how you could reach out to us. I've already gotten some inquiries from people asking, so it's already starting to fill up. Every year we've been able to fill it up to 30 with each unique participants. So I'm hoping that we're able to do that again this year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun. It adds a little bit more excitement, even in the middle portion when Tama Tonga's running out there and, you know, throwing his punches. He's my go-to whipping boy, and I apologize to Tama Tonga.
I don't,
he's always
because
the first one to think of.
No, I saw him last week when they were walking to the ring, and it was Saturday night's main event, or was it SmackDown? But they were walking to the ring. Oh, it was right before, of course, they did a title switch on the night before a big show.
Correct.
With a meaningless belt, like the tag team belts, like they always do. And Solo Sikoa kind of reached out and like, me and my right hand. He's like, like he said nothing.
No.
He just grunted. I'm like, yep, that's Zach's boy.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
This is my guy.
So reach out if you want in the Royal Rumble pool, and we will try to make sure that on all the socials and everywhere where you can hear This Is Wrestling, we will let you know as well. You got all week to be able to do it. We'll put out another call later in the week.
Yep.
Don't usually do this, but I want to start on a positive because I just feel like we might not. Kyle is in on the email.
Oh, okay.
Says, hi, Lee. Was wondering if you and Zach could talk about your favorite wrestling events you've ever been to live and why you chose them. If, as well, you could both pick your favorite match that you've seen live. I would love for you to talk about the atmosphere of what it was like when you attended ECW events before WWE TakeOver. Also, Kyle coming in with some ideas for more top 5 blind rankings.
Oh, all right.
And what I love about it is that he not only gave the like categories, but he also gave, you know, kind of what maybe the top or the 5 would look like that he wants us to pick from. So I won't do that to you just in case and give you all of the names, but he had some categories like top 5 big men and top super heavyweights. Also had top 5 cruiser lightweights from the Monday Night Wars. And maybe Kyle didn't listen to one of our episodes that we did along the way to, I was going to call it Forbidden Door, but we didn't go to Forbidden Door. It was All Out.
Correct.
And
yes.
Top 5 iconic belt designs.
Oh, yes, when we did the draft and you drafted the spinner belt, Lee. You drafted the WWE spinner belts.
Yep. I got robbed, by the way, because Chris Holsky was the guy that just decided that all of his friends were going to be the ones voting, and like I just got absolutely robbed.
It was awesome. That was my favorite trip on the GO train ever. Was
I got robbed.
we didn't give any details or context to Holsky. We're like, all right, here is what was selected for our drafts. We want you to pick who it was that made the pick.
But
and not one was
selected Holsky. Yeah, who selected Holsky?
Well, Holsky didn't have a top 5 or anything like that.
Yeah, but who selected him to be the person to vote?
Well, he was the only other person up before Riley joined in.
Yeah, what a mistake. What a mistake. Okay, just mistakes all around that day. I got robbed.
You're just mad you didn't get picked.
Kyle,
that's okay.
Kyle, when we go over it again, you'll understand why my top 5 so much better. But Kyle was in, and Kyle, it won't be today, but we'll say after, maybe the show after the Royal Rumble review, we'll have some time because both at that point, WWE and AEW don't have shows in the month of February.
Right.
Bigger shows. So we will get into things like that. And yes, I will go in depth on a lot of ECW events that I went to, including at the Burt Flickinger Arena, November to Remember in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and lots of other shows. And there's nothing like talking about matches live that you've been to. Like Zach's been to Tokyo.
Yep.
To the Dome.
Yep. And Cork and Hall.
And Cork and Hall.
Yep.
And I've been to Hogan and the Giant and Monster Trucks. No, I've been.
I mean, it's practically the same thing when you think about it.
It's almost exactly the same. I mean,
that's Kobo Hall, no Sumo Hall, but it is pretty close.
Yeah.
So.
Think about the wide gap between going to the Tokyo Dome and going to see monster trucks on top of an arena on video while paying for a pay-per-view seat in the ring.
Correct. I can only imagine, Lee, but thankfully you lived it. You were there.
We have both covered though. Like if you want our range, that'll give you a good like.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Here's the very bottom. Lee was there. And then here's near the top. And Zach was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was near the end of the peak of New Japan when I went to Wrestle Kingdom. I'm especially now knowing what it had become after I went to the Wrestle Kingdom show. I am very happy that I was able to get there and watch that. So we'll talk all about it. I'll explain my Tokyo trip in depth and where I went because I still have off in the corner. I still have all the stuff I collected, all the match cards and whatnot, and so I still have all that. I haven't touched it in years, so maybe I'll dig through it and bring it out and talk about it on the show.
And there are lots of events that I've been to in the late 80s and 90s and early 2000s that are fun to talk about. And I think still, even looking back, right? Like you and I, and we'll get into it, but you and I saw Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay in just like an incredible match, like just off the
literally
charts.
Got me out of my seat watching the match. It was unbelievable.
Like Zach and I, Kyle, were at a show not long ago, a couple of years ago, that Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada was not the best match on the show.
Which is crazy to think about.
Right?
Crazy.
Like that's all you have to say. Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada was not the best match on the show that we went to.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like let's talk about it. So yes, Kyle, we will get into kind of our live events, and we'll thank you for the ideas for our top 5 blind rankings. Glad you're enjoying that. Got some feedback about that those shows weren't long enough. I'm like, have you talked to Zach? Like, holy cow, folks.
I did get a comment recently after the TNA review, actually, where someone was saying that they wanted to hear me go on an hour more about me ranting about that TNA debut episode. So really? I was like, wow. I was surprised about that because I was like, I was really laying into that episode. So, but it was, I was like, hey, I'm got me fired up. That is like Like usually I say that for some WWE pay-per-views, but that like brought a whole new meaning to bad when I watched that TNA debut episode, which they recovered apparently the next week, but it's TNA, so they had missed their opportunity to do it in the first week. And all of a sudden the visas worked and everybody showed up the next week. And like,
so,
oh, of course.
Yeah, we'll get into all of it, Kyle. Thank you very much for the email. If you want to email us through the socials, just to me, I like hitting Zach cold with some of these. So
yes,
you never know.
Yep.
What I'm going to hit Zach cold with. But lots to get to here, including the Royal Rumble, because we got to get to the setup, SmackDown, and Saturday night's main event in Montreal before they're ready to go over. And as we sit here, we're about, I want to say an hour and 15 minutes away from Monday Night Raw in Toronto, which, understanding with the weather, hasn't been great in Montreal and Toronto, but at least better than like through some of that Eastern Seaboard in the US.
Yes.
Where they would have had a ton of difficulty. And then they'll have to get over to Saudi Arabia for the event. So let's get into Friday night SmackDown and Saturday night's main event. SmackDown was just, I don't know, it was SmackDown. Like it was. And of course, they changed the title in the middle of a show because that's what they do the night before a big show because it's the same crowd. So we got to give them something. And they give them usually a meaningless title, showing that their tag team belts are meaningless.
Correct.
Because the MFT able to beat the Wyatt Six and get some tag team gold. So your man, Tomatonga,
yes,
now a champion.
Yeah, he heard our podcast episode of me ragging on him about tying it up with Evil on SmackDown. He's like, look here, brother. I'm going to go out there and win the tag team championships just to spite you. So good on him. Good on him for spiting me.
So I have to say, Zach, as I sat and watched on Saturday night, the Ottawa Senators were playing in one of the most dreadful games I've watched in a very long time. But Saturday night's main event was also on. I have to tell you that this WWE show was one of the better shows I've watched in a long time.
You're talking about Saturday night's main event, sorry?
Yep. I have more positive things than negative things to say about the show, which for a WWE show, I'm like, wow. So it starts off with Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu in a brawl around the arena that never got to a match, but it was a match because it took a long time for the brawl and then the separation and Drew McIntyre coming out. Zach, I thought this was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought they did a really good job at kind of getting around the arena and not looking like too awkward. They did some spots around the arena. It was entertaining. I was watching it not thinking, oh my God, when is this going to end?
Yeah.
And I know that bar is low, but and even Drew McIntyre coming out and destroying both of them made sense to me. It's not a match. You can come out and do whatever he wants. I really thought that this was good. The only thing I didn't like about it was the amount of security that kept following them trying to break it up for like 15 minutes when they were getting, like power bomb through tables and like taking all of this like real abuse, not just like being shoved to the side,
right?
But real abuse. And they just kept on trying to break them up. Like, who's going to be the hero that actually breaks it up because they're going to get paid more? So I didn't understand that, but I thought this was a really good way to open the show.
Yeah, on paper, if you were to have told me that they did an angle before the match never actually got started, it was called off or whatever, I would be coming on here and just ranting and raving, just being like, come on, guys. Like, why are you advertising a match and then not actually delivering on the match? But like what you said, the way that it was laid out, while yes, we technically did not have a professional wrestling match, we also just had an extended angle that involved professional wrestling, if that makes any sense. So yeah, the brawl was good. I didn't really have a problem with it. Them going all around the arena and, like you mentioned, all the different security folks. It was cool for me, as since they were in Montreal, I recognized some of the security members that were working that show. I was like, oh, this is cool seeing this guy work and this other guy work. I'll shout out one of them. He made me laugh. It was KJ Swade, who works locally, and he was the one that took the recycling bin shot from Cody Rhodes.
Oh, okay.
Sports. And I was like, oh, look at him getting a bump in there. Good for him. So I, just from a personal standpoint, I was like, all right, this is cool to kind of see some guys. Some of the people that I've seen on the independents get an opportunity here to be on TV for WWE. But yeah, like you mentioned, it was kind of an extended segment, an extended wrestling segment, and then Drew McIntyre coming out and beating both of them up. It did what it needed to do. I'm not going to sit here and say this was changing the world when it comes to brawls or anything like that.
No.
But for what it was, like, again, considering what we get, and maybe I should just keep my standards high, but considering what we got, I was A-okay with it. I was fine with it.
Yeah. And so for me, it just kept my attention until the end of it. And, that doesn't usually happen. So that was a positive. So I'm not going to go over the whole card. I do want a couple of thoughts about the end. Rio kept the belts. That match was actually decent as well, except for the fact of how long everything took. Like everything seemed a little extended, from the entrances to, it was just this kind of methodical television match, which doesn't fit kind of Rhea Ripley. Like she needs to have something where she's like killing people, and she just seems so tame during all of this, which is a little odd to me, but I thought it was a good little match. And then I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, and with the prelude to it, that are they doing this to make people think that AJ Styles is retiring in a week, and so he's getting his stuff in? And then there has been floating around the interweb, Shinsuke Nakamura, for lack of a better word, like kind of a diary journal that he was keeping, and kind of orchestrating his thoughts about AJ Styles leaving from months and months before. Do you think it's real? What about the timing of people finding it now and translating it, as opposed to, well, just, do you think it's real? So what do you think of the match? Because you have a lot of history with, New Japan and Styles and Nakamura and what they did back 10 years ago, maybe longer than that, right?
Oh, you're right. 10 years ago. Holy geez. that match was Wrestle Kingdom 10. So
yeah. Which is wild, right? Like, it's
crazy.
wild to think that that's.
I remember watching that match at 4 or 5 in the morning and just like being blown away at what I just saw, and then hearing all the rumors about him potentially leaving New Japan, and just like, I remember all that.
So what do you think of this match, and what do you think about, both guys, like Nakamura with the journal and how emotional he seemed to be during this match, and AJ Styles like getting all of his stuff in before next week?
I was shocked at how good this was. I really liked this match. It's essentially what they did was just their match at Wrestle Kingdom 10. So not to the same level or extent, peak athleticism of the two competitors, but a lot of the similar spots, a lot of the same ideas kind of being put forth. And like I was watching, like, wow, I remember this from the Wrestle Kingdom. I also remember this from their Wrestle Kingdom 10. Wait a minute, I remember that knee spot as well from the. So they took a lot from the Wrestle Kingdom 10 match, but if you're going to take stuff from previous matches, that's probably a match you want to take from, because it was an incredible match. So I'm not going to fault them for that. This to me is a proper tribute match. All the criticism I had with John Cena versus AJ Styles, I was one of the people that did not like that match. because I felt like it was a parody of a pro wrestling match.
Yep.
And it was just doing all these tribute spots for the sake of doing tribute spots. But in this case, they worked it all together as part of an overall package of a professional wrestling match. So I really like this. Is this as good as the Wrestle Kingdom 10 match? No, but that's a high standard to reach, especially with the way these guys are at in their careers. But this was still very good. I love the limb work on this in this match. I love the striking. And this was the best I've seen Shinsuke Nakamura in literal years. Literal years. I have not seen this Shinsuke Nakamura in a long, long time. And I think he knew that he had to put his working boots on in order to get this match over. And so the match itself, I thought was great. Easily the best match of the night. In terms of the other question you asked about, is this part of a real retirement? The more that it's coming down here, and the more I'm kind of believing is like, this is probably the last of AJ Styles, at least in WWE. I'm starting to believe it a little bit more. The way that it's all put together, when it comes to the match type and the stuff that's coming out, even with Shinsuke releasing that stuff, sometimes we look into, is this an angle or is this not an angle? And I've seen so many times now with the WWE when they try to attempt an angle, how there's just these certain things that give it away that this is a work. Like I go back to the Seth Rollins stuff with him working the ankle injury and doing the Ruse of the Century Part 2, which so many people were fooled by, including myself when I called it the next after the episode aired. It's like, I think they're pulling a work on us here, Lee. Yeah. So all that to say, I don't think WWE is as good as they think they are in terms of pulling off a work. And a lot of the stuff that's come out there about Shinsuke putting out the diary and the word entry and the idea that AJ said, look, I want to be done. Royal Rumble is when I'm done. And we've had this planned out for months. And I could believe that stuff. And AJ has talked about wanting to, get out at least while he still can wrestle. That way he could still come out on top, you know what I mean? As opposed to being a broken down shell of himself. So all that to say, I could believe it. I could believe at least that this is probably the end of him in WWE. I'm still holding out hope, like in the last episode, that he will show up in AEW and have some matches, because I still think he could do a ton of great business for AEW. And I think he is somebody that understands that too, that he could come into AEW and do some good business. And he doesn't have to be there for 3 years. I think he's 47, 48. He can come in there, work like a 1-2 year program and go against some of the top guys there. And he would be just such a perfect fit for All Elite Wrestling. But if this is it, if he looks at this and says, look, I've reached my peak as a performer, I've reached my athletic peak, I don't want to be one of those guys that's working until they're like 55 or 60 and they're not the same guy that they were in the past, I can respect that. And I can totally see him wanting to leave. So all that to say, I know it's a long roundabout answer there, Lee, but I do think this is probably his last match in WWE. And if they work me, good job, because I'm buying in right now.
So on June the 2nd, AJ Styles will turn 49. And he has come out a couple times and said that he really didn't want to work past 50. Does leave a year and a half to get that done, Zach. If he wanted to leave. So one of the things that, like, when you look back at sort of John Cena's last year, right? Every match, everything he did was so talked about and you knew exactly what was going on. I guess I would ask you, if you look back at kind of AJ Styles' last year, do you think that if you looked back on it now that it looks a little bit more like a retirement run? So some of the matches that AJ Styles has wrestled on Monday Night Raw a couple of times. Finn Balor. obviously he just wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura.
Hmm?
They gave him a quick title run with the tag belts with Dragon Lee. But if you go back to kind of before that, where he had, individual matches, he got to wrestle John Cena on Cena's retirement run. He's wrestled Finn Balor, which obviously a guy that, he has history with over in Japan. He got to wrestle, Dominic Mysterio. He got a tag run. What he's done over the last year, does it look like to you that he's done a retirement run without telling people? I guess is the question. Cody Rhodes, lots of time with him, about a year and a half ago.
Yep.
The interesting part going back and looking is that I didn't realize he had done some like house shows and wrestled Gunther quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Leading up to this. So does it look to you like he's kind of got his stuff in the last year and it has been a retirement run with some of the people that he has wrestled?
It at least feels like this is the last contract he signed with WWE for a while. And knowing that this is the last contract, they want to maximize what they have in him before they move on. Because really at this point, let's just say AJ Styles isn't retiring. We just take what we've heard there in terms of the previous matches, and we assume he's going to sign a new deal, however long, but let's just say he signs a 2-year deal. Does that all kind of sound like stuff? Like, what else can you do with AJ Styles at this point if you were to sign him to a 2-year deal? What are new things you can present for AJ Styles at this point? He's been there for 10 years.
Yep.
And, he's like, what are the new things you can provide? Really not much. So I look at this and the way that you outlined it, you could call it like a low key retirement tour. You could also look at it as, we know that he's probably not sticking around with the company, and we know he still can be valuable to our company. So we're going to try and maximize this last contract and get everything we can out of him before we move on from AJ Styles. So I think it could go either way. I am still holding on to the hope. Maybe it's naivety. Maybe it's hope that he's going to have one more wrestling contract with AEW, or even just a split contract with New Japan and help be part of the rebuild there and have him be as an opponent for Yota Tsuji in the future as part of his IWGP title run. But at the very least, I do think this is probably his last run in WWE.
Do you think he cares to get to WrestleMania? No. Where I feel the same as you is that I don't see him continuing in WWE past WrestleMania. Do they get to WrestleMania with some sort of wonky finish here at the Royal Rumble, and where they fooled people is it's going to last 3 months longer than everyone thought? I'm hoping not, because I just can't see AJ Styles retiring from the business, but I can see him wanting to leave WWE and go on whether he goes to AEW or like even back to Japan, or just is an independent guy working the shows that he wants to work and wrestling some of the guys he wants to wrestle before he calls it a career. I just don't see him leaving. So I'm like you, like if they have kind of pulled a ruse over me here, then they got me, and good for them, because I don't see a lot of cracks. I mean, the Nakamura Journal being released now is a little bit weird to me, like as opposed to at any other time.
Yeah. Well, it was shared on his Instagram, right? And then he deleted it off of his Instagram. And
Yeah, but it's the same thing as like all of that stuff just is the same to me as last year or 2 years ago when we're gonna have Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes fight at the bus, and we're not gonna tell anyone, right? And they got into that for like a couple months. That's really all they did.
Yep.
Like we're not gonna tell anyone, but we know everyone has to leave off of this bridge, and they're gonna fight right below the bridge, and somebody's going to share this, and it's going to get around.
Right.
They know if they, hey Shinsuke, put it on your Instagram, leave it up for a day, take it down, and we'll see if it gets any traction. Because what's the harm if it didn't? Like, what have they lost? Nothing. I guess I don't think these things happen by accident.
I've always been of the opposite opinion. I think it happens more by accident than you think in pro wrestling. Because these aren't exactly, I always joke about the WWE audience being a bunch of Ernest Hemingways and being critical of storytelling. Like, there's not exactly, a bunch of Ernest Hemingways in the wrestling side either. Like, I do think sometimes, like, I don't think they are as deliberate as you would think they would be, is what I would say.
Okay.
And when they do try and be deliberate, I feel like it gets snuffed out pretty well. Because if there's one thing WWE does not know how to do, it's subtlety.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
So, it gets snuffed out pretty quickly. So, again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because these are two, even though this has not been the best Shinsuke Nakamura, this is the best I've seen Shinsuke Nakamura in a long while. But for a time, it was like, man, he's clearly on the down low. There was a time he was one of the best workers in the world. Mm-hmm. And there was a time that AJ Styles was one of the best workers in the world. And the brain is still there in terms of knowing how the wrestling business works. So maybe they are thinking at a 3D chess level that I'm not adding on to. But again, I'm doubtful.
I'd like to give them credit that of those guys, they would know what they're doing as opposed to, other people that haven't been around. So just to end Saturday night's main event, we do get to the 4-way, and Sami Zayn gets it done. He beats Damian Priest. And I'm just really, really thankful Randy Orton didn't win. So look, it's a bit like falling into their trap, but they prey upon this. Sami Zayn is so over in Montreal, and he is so over as a Canadian. He is a hard guy to not like. Like, he's a true babyface. People want to get behind this guy. I love this stuff because I love like him coming out on SmackDown. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the ovation. Wanted to hear it. Wanted to be there kind of singing along because he deserves it to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about Sami Zayn. And I think the WWE knows that, and they put these things in position to do this. So Sami Zayn wins and gets the shot at Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. Was this the right decision?
Yes. I think it's a good decision. It adds intrigue into the match. It certainly feels unpredictable. Like it could go either way with Sami and Drew at this stage. So there's been so many times with a lot of these WrestleMania paths last couple of years where it felt a little bit predictable about where we were going. And that's why I was coming on here and begging for The Rock to show up, because he would at least, I know it wouldn't be great, but God, does he come in and disrupt things? And I'm like, all right, let's change things up because I have no idea where it's going. And it could be bad, but it's The Rock, and like he'll change some things around. But in this case, I think that this is a smart change that they've made. The Drew and Sami matchup is something we've seen before, but we know that these two can go out there and have a good match. So I think this is a smart move, and it's smart for them to do it in Montreal, get the big pop on TV, and you can have that relayed, in your video packages later, right? And then, of course, it's the Saudi Arabia aspect of it all, right? Where He's always over when he goes over to Saudi Arabia. So I think it's a smart decision to do that because it does add a bit of unpredictability into what this path to WrestleMania is going to be. So yes, I am a fan of this.
And like I asked you previously, right? It was more about, is this just two guys getting on, deciding that they like an old guy because it's another old guy getting a shot at the title, and he's had shots before at the title. And is he standing in the way of, certainly he's not standing in the way of Randy Orton, who's been there a million times, but Trick Williams and even Damian Priest, who's been a Money in the Bank and a former heavyweight champion, still, relatively young in comparison to some of the other people as far as experience is concerned. I don't think it is. Like, I'm trying to look at it objectively where it's like, this story to me makes sense. It makes sense in Montreal to do it. It makes sense for Sami Zayn as a true babyface against Drew because people are still cheering Drew, right? That's the other thing about this. He's acting like a heel and he's talking like a heel, but people are into Drew McIntyre. So how do you combat that? You put like a true babyface up against him. And that's what they've done.
Yeah.
So to me, that makes sense. And then you also go over to Saudi Arabia where Sami Zayn has some ties and he'll be really over there, which is probably the right decision to put him in that spot too. So yeah, I enjoyed Saturday night's main event. I thought it was a good show and kind of a good lead up.
Those Saturday night's main events shows are generally my favorite WWE programming. I don't know what it is. It feels like the pacing's much better. I think in a weird way, the commercials kind of help them a little bit because especially the early ones, they were stuck to a 2-hour limit, right?
Yeah.
So they had to get their stuff in quickly. And for some reason, I feel like adding that restriction kind of helped them in a way because there's been a lot of Saturday night's main event shows that I really enjoyed. And this was another one. Now, this was different because it's on Peacock. And so they're able to expand it out a little bit more. But still, like, I don't know what it is about these Saturday night's main event shows, but they do a good job with these shows. It's like the PLE experience to this is like night and day in my mind. So I did want to mention this because we did talk about Randy Orton and I saw it happen in the match. And I'm like, of course, is the 10 punches in the corner for Randy Orton. And I'm like, geez, even 10 punches, he has to be slow and deliberate with his 10 punches. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Sami Zayn brings him down, gets him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, come on, pick up the pace here, Randy. But that's all I really had to say about the 4-way. The 4-way itself was like, it was a fine match, but it was, but again, considering what I've said on WWE shows of the past, I think this is high praise coming from me from this Saturday night's main event show. So I enjoyed it. I'm glad Sami won. I really like the Shinsuke versus AJ match. And you know what? That women's tag, it went a little longer, but I thought the work in it was pretty solid, all things considering. So overall, thumbs up show for me. I enjoyed it.
So what I don't want to do here is get into, because we're going to have, a last call for the pool and our Royal Rumble predictions, which people, Zach, I've had to separate Royal Rumble prediction show from any other thing that we're doing.
Yep.
Just based off last year.
Yes.
Right? Like, simply based off the fact that I need you and I need the listener, the good listener to This Is Wrestling, to understand that in a few days, I am going to hold Z Gibbons' feet to the fire. Like, he's not getting away with this guy's got a 0.1% chance. This girl, maybe a 2% chance.
Yeah.
He's not getting away with that. And he's going to make his predictions with this fire, with this enthusiasm that's going to leave you as the listener thinking that nobody else could possibly win the Royal Rumble other than the people that Zach McGibbon is predicting. Based off last year alone, that has to be a complete separate entity of a show. And you understand, Zach, you understand, the listener understands, you understand why that would be. Because last year, unable to see the forest through the trees with Jey Uso.
And also had a reasonable mind and common sense that maybe you shouldn't put that guy in there, but go on.
It's not, no, Zach, but that's not the point. The point is, okay, that's not the point. The point is that while you didn't want that to happen,
no,
it was more, do you think it's possible? And you were hell-bent on no, it is not possible. And Zach, to open people's eyes and ears to we need to instill possibility in people's minds. Right? We have to understand that anything is possible. That's what we tell the kids. Anything is possible.
Yeah. Even you, Jey Uso, after you floundered your matches at WrestleMania and have bad matches consistently, even you can find your way into the main events of WrestleMania the year after, somehow, some way. So you know what? You're right. You're right. I have to go into this with an open mind. I mean, I can't come in there and say El Grande Americano has a 0% chance of winning. Like, I can't go and say that anymore. Jey Uso,
but
instilled that fear in me.
Well, but what I'm telling everyone, including you, is that there will be people that you don't think can win, and you're going to have to say that.
Yeah. On the record.
Right.
Yeah.
So
enthusiastically might be tough, but I will say it on the record.
I'm giving you the opportunity to think about it before, knowing that maybe you're going to have to open up some possibilities for other people, and that who are you going to say absolutely no to?
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking about it right now.
That will come up. Not even like a 2% chance, Zach, for Jason. Nope.
0%, baby. 0%. You know what? Do I say it right? No, I'll save it for later.
So we will have a prediction show where I'm going to hold Zach's feet to the fire. He's going to give you the absolute who's going to win.
Awesome. Oh, it's not like predictions have backfired on me before.
No.
And we haven't made whole bits about it before. Jack Perry. Jey Uso.
Jack and Jay.
Yep. Leo Rush is a dark horse, Lee.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. Now I can't even find him on the AEW programming. I mean, they could have at least given me the courtesy of still pushing him in the mid card, but
where's AA Action Andretti?
Yeah, he's nowhere to be found. Well, he's part of that crew.
He's nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found.
That was a long preamble to get to. We're not going to make our predictions right now.
Yes.
We are going to have a separate show for our predictions and our last call to get into the Royal Rumble pool.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk a little bit about some of the people already into the Royal Rumble. And, who's possible. I think some of the speculation, that's the fun part, right? Like, who's going to be in. First of all, I'm going to ask you, and this is a question I heard asked earlier, and I'm like, that's a good question. I'm going to ask Zach that. Do you think it's easier or harder to sneak people into the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia as opposed to the United States or North America?
I think it's harder because you're going to get people being like, with them, it's like, oh, this guy that's not usually backstage is backstage. But I guess I understand why you asked that question, because could you like hide them on the plane? Like you do the R-Truth method, season 2, episode 2 review.
No, but you wouldn't even have to hide them on the plane, Zach. It's a charter plane from the WWE. There's only WWE people on the plane. So while it might not be a surprise to the wrestlers, there is at least some part of it to go, well, as long as you get on the plane and no one sees you get on the plane, you're good. And quite frankly, like, does Saudi Arabia have the same amount of they have great fans, but do they have the same amount of people that are going to be stalking at the hotel? And like, yeah, you put a few people in hoods when they're like getting off the bus and getting into the hotel, and they're good.
Well, maybe if you don't allegedly pay the television station in time that's run by the Saudi government, they might hold the plane at the tarmac. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a insider pew pew reference there, but not a Cesaro in pew pew. But Thank you. Just to clarify, but so, yes, to answer your question, I'm thinking about it more. I'm like, it's probably easier because you think Brock Lesnar's just gonna walk around Riyadh and just be like, hey guys, I'm Brock Lesnar. I'm here at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, of all places, where WWE just happens to be. I mean, that visual alone is just funny. It's just like Brock in his little lumberjack, shirt on or whatever, and his
but like mohawk. you just fly them over, and once they're on the plane, then how hard really is it?
It's true.
As you said, they're not walking around like they're walking around New York City or
Evil's walking around Riyadh, just having a good time.
So I will ask you about some people here that are on the speculation list.
Yeah.
Do you think Chris Jericho is on his way to Riyadh?
Yes.
Okay. Evil, you think is?
Yes.
Who are other people that you think are possible? Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock. That's been reported. I saw that Brock is probably considered for Rumble.
But he works for the company. They've already brought him back. Why? For me, I don't understand why that would be a surprise.
Oh, I'm not surprised about it. I just more like I could see him showing up. Maybe somebody from NXT, maybe an Obafemi again. If you want to do a showcase spot for him, that would make sense. I could see Obafemi on that list. Maybe somebody from the NXT women's division as well. There's this one women's wrestler in NXT that's getting a lot of buzz. Like, they're saying just how good she is. And now all of a sudden I've forgotten her name, but there's apparently somebody there that's like I heard Dave Meltzer say, like, I've watched Manami Toyota and I haven't seen somebody as good like her since.
It's not Sol Ruka, is it?
No, it's not Sol Ruka. I can tell you that. No, it's somebody else on the undercard.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I was going to say the name and I completely blanked on it, but
it's okay. We'll get back to it. What about Powerhouse Hobbs, who has seemingly signed with the WWE? I'm not sure it's official, but he's not at AEW anymore. And, got rolled up. I haven't seen Powerhouse Hobbs just get rolled up and lose a title like that, but good for him.
Yep.
Royce Keys is the name that people are reporting that he will be.
Yep.
Do you expect to see him?
I think that's certainly a possibility. Yeah, I could see him. It sounds like he's pretty much in the clear that he's WWE bound. So and he's probably going to go to the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
So like that would be the thing, is if they view him as a main roster guy or an NXT guy. But I think based on some of the reporting that's out there, sounds like they view him as a main roster guy, that they want to put him on TV right away. So I could see him debut at the Rumble.
And I guess most of these things are possibilities, to say no to them. But would you put iShow Speed back on this again?
No.
You wouldn't, eh?
No.
A lot of buzz from last year. Got absolutely destroyed by Braun Breaker.
Yep. Oh, I know, but that's in a bottle. Like, you already captured in a bottle. You can't just make lightning strike twice. By the way, the women's wrestler I'm thinking of, I have not seen her wrestle, but I've heard a lot of good things about her, is Kendall Gray.
Kendall Gray.
So somebody to keep an eye on. Maybe she gets the call up, because I've heard some reviews from people that I trust. They're like, this when she is already really, really good. So who knows?
Awesome.
We'll see.
Okay. Just trying to think of those mainstream people that they like to throw in one or two of them, like the iShowSpeed thing last year.
Yep.
So if you don't think it's him, maybe Pat McAfee?
Maybe. Well, if it's Saudi Arabia and they're spending big bucks, would it be crazy if I throw a Jake Paul out there?
No. God, no. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world.
Yep.
So I was going to ask you about a couple more. No, just one guy I wanted to ask you about more. And whether you think this would be a good surprise, a bad surprise, or maybe not a surprise at all. The question is, do you think we see Seth Rollins in the Royal Rumble? And good thing, bad thing, if we do.
I feel like with the Saudi Arabia Rumble, they are going to try and load it up and make it like a big thing where it's like, oh, this person came out and this person came out. Look at this person. We've signed this person because Saudi Arabia is paying a bunch of money to have the Rumble this year. So I know I'm saying yes to Jericho, yes to Evil, yes to Powerhouse Hobbs. I might even say yes to Seth Rollins. You know, now I think for me personally, it's just kind of a neutral. Seth's back. You know, like good. I understand with the story, why, and all that, but
see, this is where I think, and we'll get to it. And if you haven't listened to WWE Unreal,
yep,
broken down by yours truly, Zach McGibbon, Versage.
Yep,
we haven't got yet to the ruse of the century, but let's pretend they never did that. One of the biggest Royal Rumble moments ever was John Cena coming back way earlier from an injury, coming out 30th. It was Madison Square Garden. The place went absolutely bonkers, and he won. And nobody thought that he was going to be back because it was, you know, one of those, I can't remember. I think it was a pectoral muscle, but
torn pec.
A torn pec. And he came back like in 3 months when he was supposed to be out in like 9 months to a year. And he just rehabbed every day and made it back. That was truly a surprise. Yes, he works for the company, but he got back way sooner and then he won. If the ruse of the century didn't happen, man, I think if he was even close to ready to go, it would be awesome for Seth Rollins to come back. But now they've done this ruse of the century, and I kind of feel like good for him if he makes it back from a real injury like this.
Yep.
But I don't know if it would have me as completely shocked. Would it be a good thing though if he got in?
I think it would be, just from a storyline perspective, just to have him back. Again, for me, I'm just going to be pretty neutral on it. Because Seth, I've said multiple times on the show, I'll try not to repeat myself, but I'm not as high on Seth Rollins as other people are. So for me, with him coming back, it's like, it makes sense for him to come back and rekindle the feud there with Paul Heyman and the Vision for getting kicked out of the group and all that. So it would make sense for him to return here and kind of be a shock. So I know I saw the article already that Seth said he's not going to be there, which is always just fun because that always is like, so maybe he is going to be there because he said he isn't going to be there, because that's how pro wrestling works, right? So, yeah, I'd be pretty neutral on it, but I think it would make sense if he came back at the Rumble.
Is there anybody else that, like, I've seen like Jeff Hardy, his name attached to this.
Yeah.
Would that be cool for you?
No, I'm good. I had my fill of Jeff Hardy back in like 2014. So I had my fill, and I saw him on that TNA debut, and he's not exactly 1997 Jeff Hardy out there. So
yeah, like that wouldn't do anything for me, but I do understand that it would do.
He's got an appeal. You know, he's got an appeal. We had a former coworker that's the biggest Jeff Hardy fan, so he's probably watching if he's showing up at the Rumble. So
is there anybody on the men's side that you'd like to see before we talk about the women?
Just as surprises?
Well, no, but just you don't have to be like total shocked, but somebody that you'd like to see back. Like for me, it would be Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have any idea that Kevin Owens is ready to go after what has happened to him.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he'll be ready to go.
No, I don't think so either. But if he came back, he works for the company, so it's not that big of a surprise, but it is a surprise that he would be ready to go this early.
Yep.
Because they did have some like what I call circumstances, like it was murky circumstances.
Yes.
Around like when did he have surgery and when he was out, and I did hear Michael Cole bring his name up, like Kevin Owens. I had a chance to talk to Kevin Owens, and he was giving his best. They've had a complicated relationship. He's giving his best. He's cheering for Sami Zayn. Like they brought him up specifically on the broadcast. Just remember, nothing's by accident, right?
On WWE programming, yes.
Yes.
Just so we're clear.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just so we're clear.
Fair enough. Okay, on the women's side, I think we expect, she works for the company, expect Bianca Belair.
Yep.
To be back. I would like to see Charlotte Flair come back as Charlotte Flair and not whatever she's been doing with Alexa Bliss. And I would like to see Charlotte Flair back in the title picture. And again, we're not picking people here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a prediction show, but I'd like to see her elevated back up. And it's crazy. Like she won what her year has been like. She won the Royal Rumble last year and then lost at WrestleMania, pulled a little bit of a Shawn Michaels, lost her smile, came back. They had to team her with somebody like Alexa Bliss, who, is kind of beloved by the audience. And she's been more like natural. But for me, I'd like to see her elevated. Isn't it crazy in 2025 that both Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair have been nowhere near the women's title picture? Like,
especially Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Especially Rhea Ripley and me. At least with Charlotte Flair, you can make the arguments like, oh, she's been around a long time and you want to. But Rhea Ripley is like, she has not been in that women's title picture for a while.
Long time.
Yeah.
I had to be reminded that she lost the belt before WrestleMania.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And hasn't even been close to it since, which is wild.
Yeah.
So for the women, I'd like to see both of those women elevated back to almost like where they should be. What about surprises for the women? Are there any that really kind of move the needle for you?
Well, Candice Michelle is off the list after showing up on that TNA show, so we can't expect Candice Michelle to return. I know you were looking forward to that, but once she showed up on the debut of TNA on AMC, it's like, well, that's a steal for TNA right there.
But they have a partnership.
Well, that's true. They do have a partnership. Maybe Molly Holly will return again. I mean, she is a backstage agent for WWE. I think this is one of those areas where you call up a Sol Ruca, you look into. I kind of want to see this Kendall Gray because, like I've said on this show, you will not catch me dead watching NXT. I refuse to watch that programming. So I'm hoping that maybe I'll see some Kendall Gray get a call up. Maybe Sol Ruka. I'm trying to think of like legends of the women's wrestling industry. Like, it wouldn't shock me if they decide to go Trish Stratus.
Oh my
and
God,
have her
not
bring back.
again.
If yeah, I mean, I know, but like, would it really shock you that much if she showed up in the Rumble?
But so to me, if I'm going legends, I'm definitely going Brie Bella.
Oh, geez, Brie mode. Oh no.
Right? Like,
oh boy.
No, but that would make more sense.
Yeah, but also no.
I know, but you also heard Nikki Bella say that she wanted to do the run with her sister.
Yeah,
and she's been there, and she got a couple of title matches.
I also want $1 million, Lee, but life sucks, you know. Sorry.
I'm just telling you, like legends. When you say legends, she's the first one that pops into my mind that makes the most sense. You wouldn't even have to sneak her over because how many people would actually know the difference?
I was thinking if we're going legends, let's get Medusa in there. Let's just get that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. And I have heard like rumblings of Michelle McCool being back in it, and it's like, not for me.
Maybe. What about her former tag team partner Layla? She could come back.
Yeah,
Layla L. Cool.
But unfortunately, this isn't like a slam against them. Like,
no,
a lot of the women, they don't have the history because they weren't put in positions 20 years ago to like really succeed. And it was more like TNA, and it was bra and panties matches and all that stuff. And it's like, well, their history isn't long enough. Like, there's only so many, and they've brought them all back already because they've done, the Evolution pay-per-views. They've done, some things where they really focused on the women, and they brought back the Trish Stratuses, and they brought back the Litas, and but there's only so many times you can do that. Where you just run out of things to do. So I'm kind of hoping in the Women's Royal Rumble that we see more of a focus on like who's really good now. I would expect Bianca Belair to be in there. I would expect Tiffany Stratton to be back. Other women that they have stronger, like a good performance by Lash Legend, to really just sort of pump up some of the people that they already have and make sure that they're put in more prominent positions. But I'm not going to get like a big, I don't think, unless they're surprising me. Oh, that's the other one. I'm sorry. I did forget. She hasn't been around very much, but I would expect AJ Lee to be back into the Rumble.
Yeah. Oh, like, yeah. That's a good call.
Like that's like she's been around, but she hasn't been there the last couple months. But I mean, who's got the Intercontinental title? That's Becky Lynch.
Yep. That makes sense.
Thought that run was coming before, and it's like
just waiting at this point. And
it feels like a like the road to AJ Lee and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Like it just feels that way.
Can I throw out another name? That just popped in my head. And it's like, I'm going to throw it out there on I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. And it's mainly because of her activity on Twitter a few months back, where she kind of got her name resurfaced. Gail Kim. Would that be? I feel like that would be an interesting name for her to come back. She used to be in WWE. Obviously, she was a focal point of TNA for the longest time, but used to be in WWE. And if you want to continue, like, she's really the only one that when they talk about women's wrestlers of the past that they haven't really brought back into the fold.
Right.
And so it wouldn't shock me if they wanted to, rekindle that with Gail Kim, and there would be a bunch of different match types. I think I know she had a retirement match in Impact, but like that doesn't count. Like, let's just be honest with that here. Okay. Like if WWE came calling, she would probably listen to an offer.
So there have to be folks wondering, so I'm going to ask.
Yep.
Do you think there's any shot at like a Britt Baker? I mean,
I understand why you throw it out there, but I'm going to say no.
We haven't really heard anything.
Yeah.
They're not like the last thing Tony Khan said. He kind of said the same thing about Chris Jericho. Yeah, we'd love when they get back, and
yep,
that would be a needle mover for me. Like the rest of them, like I hope that they get back and we see Bianca and we see Tiffany and we see some of their stronger characters and wrestlers that are back in the prominent positions. I want Charlotte Flair. I want Rhea Ripley back in the title picture, those sort of things. But as far as somebody who's not there right now, Britt Baker would be a needle mover for me. I don't know why it would be such a no. Like, does anybody really know when her contract has ended?
Well, I was just Google searching it. And the latest reports is that apparently her contract runs into the fall of 2026. So this fall.
Okay.
So unless they negotiate an early release, which has happened before with other talents.
They've had a long time to do that.
Yep. Oh, they have. It's just, I just wonder with that situation, what's going on. That's all I'll say. I just wonder.
Okay, but wonder about what?
Just like,
because people don't know, right? Like,
yeah. Well, I think she's rubbed a few people the wrong way in AEW. Is the gist I get?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I totally believe that, but like,
yep.
Rub them the wrong way enough to like.
Yes. Considering her last TV appearance was saying to Serena Deeb, who is this person? Why is she on TV? Get her out of here. Like she's a jobber, I think is what she said. And we haven't seen from her since. I think I don't know. I think it's just especially prevalent because it was somebody that Tony Khan had put over so much in the past. And the fact that it would be that later on that she would do that on TV, I do think it's again, this is just me speculating. This is just me kind of looking into a situation. Maybe it's just a matter of, like maybe it really is just a matter of we know how valuable she is to the other company. We don't want to give her to WWE so easily if we can keep her under contract and keep paying her. It could be as simple as that, but I do think there is an element of because of how close they were at one point in terms of how much Tony Khan was putting her over and Britt Baker being a face of that division for a few years. And the fact that she has not been brought back at any point, even when they were in Pittsburgh, like if there was ever a time for her to come back and be in the folds in Pittsburgh, like it's just me speculating again, but I just have a feeling that there is there's not a good relationship there to the point where even if they're probably don't even want to talk about negotiating an early release is what I will say.
Yeah. And it's a very fair comment and probably the most logical thing. It's just that she's been gone for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to our prediction show. I think I think the women's one is a little bit easier. I don't think there are that many women that could really win. But for the men, I think it's exciting that I think the list is pretty deep for people who could win.
Yep.
Like I literally have seen 7, 8 different winners that like
all make sense.
That all make sense, and all people have gone public in predicting that they're going to win. Like they all make sense. So that'll be a fun show later on in the week.
Who will I make as my 0%er that they're not going to win? And then they somehow pull off the miracle. And
so it can't be. And I know you're going to come in and you're going to say that, I don't know, like it's a pretty decent lineup. I don't think there's too many people in the 30 on the men's side that you're like, man, that there's no chance that person can win. But I'm not letting you off the hook with getting in like a El Grande Americano.
Damn it.
Who's in, and you're like, well, I know he's not going to win, so that's my 0% guy.
Damn it.
No. What's going to happen? Okay. What's going to happen is I'm going to give you the list of who you get to pick from on the prediction show. Now, it's not going to be one or two, and you have to say, no, this person has 0%.
Yep.
But it's not going to be all of the people that are involved in the Royal Rumble either. I'm going to cut the fat out and make sure that we get to the real people where you're going to have to decide. This person has 0% because I'm going to get, Zach, prepare for this. I'm going to get you to a top 5, which I feel is fair.
Okay.
Five possible winners.
Yep.
Of the Royal Rumble. But what's going to happen is 6 through 30 have no chance.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Whoever your number 6 is.
Okay.
And you can cut up the pie any way you want. Okay. With the 5 people. You can go 20% each.
Yep.
Okay. You can rank it 80 and then 5% for everybody else.
Right. I could go 100% for number 1 and then 0% for everybody else if I want.
But yeah, you have the ability to give a percentage, even if it's a 0.01 to number 5 on the list.
Gotcha.
But number 6 through 30, I feel like this is fair. I thought about making it 3, but I'm like, no, there are it's a little bit deeper than that. But so what I'm saying to people is that, Zach, you're going to get 5. It's going to be interesting to hear the 5, but what's going to be as interesting is the 6 through 10 that have 0%. Where I might feel like number 6 and number 7, number 8, they might have a chance to win.
Yep. How do I end up in these situations? How do I
Well, because it's your your job. You're a wrestling talk show host.
No, I get it, but it seems like it's fairly one-sided here, where I'm the one that has to take out the calculator and put the glasses on. It's like, all right, if I carry the 1 over here.
Yeah, so you feel like it's one-sided when you didn't see that Jey Uso had a possibility. I did.
No, because I had a clear conscience.
You never could pick a Jack Perry match. No matter if it's just 1-on-1 and you had 10 chances, you're getting them wrong all the time.
Oh, well,
so,
yeah.
The rest of us aren't that stupid. You know what I mean? So, why you're in this spot is just look in the mirror.
To be fair, on the Jack Perry stuff, I was not in a clear state of mind. I was exhausted and I needed time off. I to the point where I was leaning over the balcony with you, Lee, and I was like, man, that was an awful pick. Why did I make that pick? I don't know what I was thinking. I felt like it was and I said it so confidently too.
Yeah.
You know, like that one is just no excuses, right?
But what you've done though is you've actually fooled the entire audience and me. You have gotten yourself over. You have what you've done is gotten yourself over.
Yeah, I've done the rare. I've lost so much it's actually got me over from me losing. That doesn't happen for a lot of people. So
faking a how could I have picked him moment at the balcony afterwards.
No, I didn't fake that.
Fake.
That was a full on I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I went to the air with that. And I said, yep, that sounds good. I'm going to lock that one in. Oh, let me tell you about Lio Rush. That man is a dark horse in this match because he's wrestled really well the last couple of TVs. So not great. But look, I'm not going to stand down for the Jey Uso 0%. And I was proven right in the sense that he had an awful year and everybody finally caught up to what I was saying. And I was like, look, you probably shouldn't have given that guy a win in the Royal. I watched his match with Jimmy Uso at WrestleMania. Like I know what I'm getting, you know? And what did they do? They rewarded him with a main event world title match.
Yep.
Which wasn't a main event world title match. It was the opener of night 1 or whatever, but still they rewarded him with the title match. So
the opener of night 1. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So regardless of whether your logic played out correctly after, it's about
in the moment. I didn't get it right.
It's about the Royal Rumble. It's about surprises. It's about
Lee, just like Triple H. I think long term. Yeah, I'm just going out there thinking long term.
I know.
It's what I do, Lee. I think in the long term. So I can't wait.
I don't want to spoil our next episode, but maybe I'm gonna say that Jey Uso goes back to back.
Oh God, if he wins again, Lee, I'm done with professional wrestling.
That's it.
I'm done. That's it. I've had enough. It'll be the combination of me pulling Evil's number in the Rumble. And
I was gonna say you're gonna get Jey Uso. Like you're gonna your number is coming up with Jey Uso.
The funniest outcomes are me getting Jey Uso or Evil for the Rumble pool, and then Jey Uso wins. If Jey Uso wins again, Lee, like I will lose all faith in professional wrestling and the people that run it, and just say, maybe this isn't for me.
I heard CM Punk on with, the guys on Busted Open and telling everyone how great Jey Uso was.
Oh, I'm sure.
A couple weeks ago.
Oh yes, that fraud. I'm sure he's got a lot to say. Oh, Phil. Oh, Phil. He's going out in interviews is like, no, you guys, you just don't understand what it's like to work in a corporate environment. And I'm like, you're CM Punk. What are you doing? What happened to this guy in 2012?
Crazy how much CM Punk has morphed into Triple H.
I know, it's crazy.
Right? The two that hated each other are the same person now.
They truly are the same person. By the way, so much so, I don't know if you saw, I know you're not a big video gamer, Lee. I know you're not kicking back and pulling up the controller and playing the latest.
Not true. Legend of Zelda. I got on.
Oh, there you go.
Almost done level 8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yes. What's the level 8 of Legend of Zelda, Lee?
I had an XLIII bike out the other day.
Ooh, all right.
Which was good. RC Pro-Am. I mean, we're talking about, the old Nintendo games.
Nice. The old NES or SNES, or there you go. But I don't know if you saw what was announced today, Lee, when it came to the video game covers.
Nope.
But it was announced yesterday, WWE 2K26, they have a Monday Night Wars edition. Because if there is anything that has not been touched upon in pro wrestling history, it is the Monday Night Wars.
I did see this because I believe, who was it? I guess it was it Le Champion?
Might have been Ben.
No, but Le Champion was going through it and showing me the pictures and saying how cool it would be to run through the gamut of playing the game and having to get through all of the Monday Night Wars. And it was Le Champion.
Well, I've got the game for you there, Le Champion. It's WWE 13 when they did the Attitude Era edition, 13 years ago. So if you wanted to run the gamut of the Attitude Era, I highly recommend you go back to WWE 13.
Graphics have improved, Zach.
Oh, well, sure. But, of course, in the Monday Night Wars, it's like, all the people in the Monday Night Wars, Hogan, Nash, Hall, Booker T, Eric Bischoff, and nobody else. Nobody else in the Monday Night Wars for WCW. Like, I feel like there's somebody pretty big that's kind of missing in this graphic for the Monday Night Wars for WCW. But no, it's not that, Lee. Okay, a Monday Night Wars edition, sure. Let's just do another thing about the Monday Night Wars because it's not been covered enough.
Right.
We need more Monday Night Wars coverage. Is that they announced another special edition of the game. Lee, they announced the King of Kings edition, Triple H cover for WWE 2K26. You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. You already have a special edition. Why do you need him as the special edition? Who's going to EB Games or GameStop or whatever it's called now and looking at this like, here's the Triple H edition. That's what I need in my life. God, I really wanted to play as my time Triple H or the game Triple H, or Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or whatever, Terra Rising Triple H.
Terra Rising, yeah.
So I looked at this like, yeah, Jean-Paul Levesque, WCW Triple H. Why? What? Who? You already have one special edition. Now you've got the Triple H edition. I had to do a double take when I saw it. I was like, no. This is one of those. This is one of those joke accounts. And I looked and I was like, oh my God. I went to the WWE 2K page and there it is. It's green. It's Triple H doing the water spit at his little pose. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Outstanding.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Oh, so fired up.
It's quite believable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's just, I can't believe the guy that runs away from the spotlight is just so in the spotlight all the time with the old Paul Levesque. So I wanted to make mention of that too, because I saw it shared. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And you know who is on the main cover of WWE 2K26?
Who?
It is CM Punk. So not even Punk can get his own shine. It always has to be either the Monday Night Wars or it truly is 2012 again, where we're talking about the Monday Night Wars.
Except CM Punk. CM Punk's on board, though. That's the difference.
Except CM Punk's like all on board. He's like, you don't understand what a corporate environment is like. And like, come on, Phil. Kid, what happened to you, man? Jeez, you're crying over the World Heavyweight Championship that was created like 2 years ago. Come on, man. What happened to you? Was Jack Perry really that mean to you backstage that you felt like you had to leave the company? Anyways, unbelievable. Just unreal. Speaking of unreal, Lee, new episode review coming out later on, probably a day after this gets released. So get fired up.
Okay, well, I am fired up. I can tell you that there are people on that show that were fired up.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know, Lee. They were certainly fired up.
They were. Yeah. I can tell you.
Yes.
Firsthand knowledge. It was either Zach or I.
Yes. Who knows? You're going to have to tune in to find out.
One of us was.
Yeah.
Which one? I don't know.
I know. You're going to have to find out.
But yes, we are WWE Unreal, and we've gotten some good feedback on the shorts. But, even Kyle, who we mentioned at the beginning of this show, appreciate the email, Kyle. And once again, Zach, we're going to have a show coming up later on in the week that are official predictions. Zach predicting the Royal Rumble, folks. The headlines write themselves.
Awesome.
Which is going to be incredible. But just another reminder, Royal Rumble pool. Reach out on social. Reach out to Zach. Reach out to me. And Zach, I know on the episodes, you're going to make sure that people are aware.
Yep.
On socials to reach out. Royal Rumble pool. We'll kind of decide again how much, and you'll get entries into both the women's and the men's Royal Rumble, and a chance to walk home with some cash, which is always good.
Yes.
And it gives us something, a big weekend coming up. We should mention it. You're not going to have a chance to be here, but a lot of us going to the Big Chill.
Yep.
On Friday night down at the Preston Event Center with C4 Wrestling. Looking forward to, and Bear Bronson, who just got his way into the system.
Yes.
Bear Bronson, part of the main event with Junior Benito and Josh Bishop. Benito's in there with a couple of real true heavyweights, which is
that'll be interesting.
That'll be really interesting. Some other good matches as well. So we're going to do that Friday night, and then again the Royal Rumble Saturday afternoon. So if you are thinking, oh, I'm just gonna get in Saturday night, watch the Royal Rumble, because it is in Saudi Arabia, it is on in the afternoon coming up. But I'm looking forward to the pool. I'm looking forward to the predictions. And should be a fun week. Some local wrestling, some pools. Really get some of the C4 guys, girls to be in the pool.
Why not? Yeah, I'll reach out.
You know what?
I'll reach out.
that $20 Benito that you make every night, you put it right back. You put right back into the This Is Wrestling. How about that?
Oh boy. Calling out Junior.
It'd be cool to have Junior. Yeah, but I don't know if Junior's a good guy or a bad guy.
That's true. Well, I know what he's like in Acclaim, and I'm still shocked
that's what I
by what I
mean.
saw.
But like, does he walk around with different faces? Like, I'm a good guy today, I'm a bad guy tomorrow. Like, what's going on, Junior? But we got to get them. We got to get them in. That'd be fun. Like, people be able to brag that they beat Junior Benito in something,
right?
Exactly. Or McCray Martin dominated again.
Yep. I could reach out to a few folks. Who knows? We'll see. I can make
don't have those Lightning brothers, man. They are trouble.
No, not London, not Storm Rider or anybody like that.
No, because I just don't want them having enough money to buy new pants. Right? Like, that's my concern with those guys.
Yeah. Zubaz, not Zubaz, as I used to call it. I was finger wagging. No.
I used to have Zubaz.
Right.
I remember my father. I remember thinking that the pants were cool. And then I guess they're cool again, because everything that's old is cool again, right? But I used to wear them like in the 80s, and I was, like sort of, 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. But I remember there's a picture that we went to the baseball game, and like we got onto the field, and I'll never forget, like, went over and took a picture. It was so cool to be on the field at the Sky Dome. And there was my dad, and he wore his Zubaz. And I remember looking at that picture going, yeah, I'm not going to be wearing the Zubaz again.
Yes.
Like, my dad went to the baseball game in Zubaz in like the late 80s and thought that was a really good idea.
Yeah. It's always, once you see the adult does it, you're like, oh, I'm out. I can't be seen with the
That's it. Like, I'm out. Like, I thought it was all right at 11 or 12 or however old I was. And, but now I would wear them. The only reason I'm not wearing them is because they look so bad on London.
Ouch. Pew pew, brother.
No, it would be cool if London, it's another thing that I would beat London Lightning in too. So I wouldn't mind if he was in the pool.
Yeah. I'll tell him that you were cutting a promo on him on the show. I think I told you before, he was listening into an episode of the podcast and you were shooting on him. And he's like, I had to turn it off because Lee was just shooting on me. Like, all right.
Yeah, that guy didn't turn it off till after it was over. I can promise you, because he's like, somebody's talking about me for 2 minutes. It's more than I've had in 2 months. So, no, I promise you, he didn't turn it off, Zach. He told you he turned it off.
He did. Anyway, he did tell me. Yes.
Looking forward to going to the C4 show, The Big Chill, and we'll reach out to some people. I love the Royal Rumble pool. Like it.
Me too.
Because it's, like legitimate.
Truly anybody could win. Like it's crazy.
This is not about how much you know. This is about drawing numbers out of a hat and being attached to anybody. Like, you have no idea who you're going to be attached to.
Yep.
And the cool part is, like, in years past, there's only been a couple of numbers that have come out. You're like, they're probably going to win. Right. Like, now all of a sudden you're looking at the list. Okay, who's got 27 and who's got 21? Because those are really the only people that are going to win. But in the men's this year, man, like, anyone could win.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. All right. So lots to do for you, the listener. Get into our Royal Rumble pool. Listen to our shorts that are coming out on the top 5 blind rankings, which have been a lot of fun. WWE Unreal, the documentary on Netflix, also covered by This Is Wrestling, and look forward to, a local show and then a big Royal Rumble show coming up this weekend. Zach, been fun.
I'm got a lot coming the next couple of days. I think we're literally going to have a piece of audio out every day this week. I think that's how it's looking. So,
that's amazing.
This is going to it's going to rock. I'm looking forward to it. So,
and our prediction show coming up later on this week. Again, folks, Zach has to narrow it down to 5 who have a chance. After that, it's 0. It's Sam Mitchell. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I mean, and I say I mean at the end because that's the best part of the whole clip.
Yeah. And he gives a look after that. He's like, I mean.
Right. Like 0, 0, 0, 0. I mean. But I told them they should quit.
If you're not going to contribute, quit.
Quit.
So good.
Oh, I miss.
Me too.
I miss Sam Mitchell being a coach and some of the quotes. And I was actually talking to like a big sports fan who's 20 years old and massive sports fan. But I was telling him about all these things. He's like, oh, I love it when coaches, and he was talking about like stuff that's happened in the last 5 years. I'm like, dude, you have no idea how good it could be. And then like sending him to Sam Mitchell, sending him the Michel Therrien, one of the greatest. After I think our goal is to become the worst defensive team in the league. I really believe that that's our goal. We're just so soft. We're so soft. The coach is just talking about their teams this way. Just incredible.
My favorite one is Rick Pitino on the Boston Celtics. He's like, listen here, fans. Larry Bird ain't walking through that door. Kevin McHale ain't walking through that door. And if they do, they're going to be gray and old. But what we have here is a team that works hard. It's like, I love that clip. I got to incorporate it to my wrestling reviews now. Is like, look, folks, you know, Jun Akiyama ain't walking through that door. Ken Okabashi ain't walking through that door. But what we do have Yota Tsuji. and he works hard.
So good. And then I got to get the Sam Mitchell for your predictions. 0, 0, 0. But there's just so many good ones from one just left my mind too, the coaches. Oh, because this whole discussion started that there was a comment made where I was, and a couple other guys kind of looked over and they're like, playoffs?
That's a classic.
Playoffs? Well, we'll be lucky to even win another game.
I just want to win a game.
That was Jim Mora on the Indianapolis Colts. But when the 20-year-old was there, he's like, what? Somebody said that? Like he didn't know any of these references.
He didn't know the playoffs reference?
No, he's only 20, Zach.
But that's like timeless though. Like
I know. Playoffs. Wow. Playoffs.
It's like that just blows my mind. That he wouldn't know that.
Yes, I know, but we've also established in this episode that it was 10 years ago.
Yep. It's like not knowing who Pat Sajak is. Like, I don't understand how anybody could not know that. That's an inside reference right there. But
which I was a little bit embarrassed for Tanner too.
Yes. I wasn't going to name him, but you named him. So
oh no, it was Tanner.
Yeah, it was Tanner. Yes.
Yeah. Didn't know who Pat Sajak was. Didn't know who David Putty was.
That one I can understand. Like Seinfeld's kind of in that realm. Yeah, I can understand. I can understand the David Putty one. I was glad that you picked up on it when I mentioned it. But when Pat Sajak was mentioned, he's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, Wheel of Fortune, big pompadour hair, Pat Sajak.
And he's like, I don't watch Wheel of Fortune.
Van White, like, come on. I like to buy a what?
But it's like I don't watch Seinfeld. I don't watch, Wheel of Fortune. I'm trying to think of, there was one quote, and I'm just stalling here for a quick second until I find it. Old Tampa Bay coach, like from the 70s.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, yes, I know exactly that quote you're talking about. Oh, man. He used to coach at USC before he went to
is it John
it's John something. I'm gonna figure it out here.
Yeah,
John McKay.
John McKay.
Yeah, I know exactly the quote you're about to say.
Well, I don't have it in front of me yet. Do you have it there?
I don't have the exact quote, but like I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
So many good ones he had, right? Like,
yeah,
he was the guy that he always had something to say after the game.
The one I'm thinking of is a reporter asking him,
yes,
so what do you think about the execution of your team? And him saying, I'm all for it. So,
I'm all for it, Zach.
yeah,
how do you feel about the execution? I think it's a good idea.
I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
Oh, who was the coach that ended up? He was at Notre Dame, then he went to LSU, and nobody liked him.
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly. He tried to do a similar quote, but it came off so awkwardly because he does not have any sort of sense of timing when it came to comedy. So it just came across that he wanted to execute the entirety of his team, like legitimately. And I was like Brian, whoa, this is just a football game, my friend.
Yeah, but you have to, folks. This is like, so John McKay was back like in the late 70s. So you're talking about like, almost 50 years ago. And a reporter like, what do you think about your team's execution tonight? I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. It's the way that he said it was just so good.
Yeah.
There's that one. And it's like the other one I think of is like, well, the offense couldn't score, but the defense made up for it by not tackling. It's so good. Oh man. Is so great. People have to go see some John McKay sayings. Those are the two prominent ones I think of. But man, so good.
But there's just so many good ones, like from not just with him, but the coaches when they go through them. They're my favorite, like top 10 or top 30 lists to watch all the time. Like the best quotes. Just so funny. Like I told him, quit. Imagine now, like even today, and that wasn't even that long ago, but imagine a coach coming out after the game and saying, yeah, I told him to quit. Travis Green comes out. Yeah, I told the guys today to quit.
Yeah, quit. If you don't want to be here, quit.
Quit. Hilarious.
Yes.
Okay, so lots to do this week. Thank you, Zach. It's been fun. And as you said, tons of audio and different shows coming out. And we look forward to you being a part of it. For Zach McGibbon, I'm Versage. Thanks for listening to another edition of This is Wrestling.